One of the biggest problems that I see with people and how they're training is they have little to no sense of urgency. Now, what is sense of urgency? Basically, it's the idea that I am doing a task and I am trying to do it fast. It's the mindset of trying to get through a task quickly and efficiently. And I see a lot of people on the range and people that I shoot with, whether they're law enforcement or military or civilians, while they're shooting their drills, they're being very comfortable at the pace in which they're shooting the drill or the pace at which they're doing the task. So it can be anything from how they're drawing their pistol, how they're reloading, how they're clearing a malfunction, shooting around a barricade, moving to a different position. Just the amount of time it takes them to do it and the fact that they're not pushing themselves and they're not giving themselves any urgency. And the only time I kind of will see those people pick up the pace or try to be faster is when I put them into a competitive environment where I have someone next to them and I have 2 plate racks or I have two different strings of fire, they're the same, and I'm going, you're competing against this dude, I have a buzzer or I call something out. That's the only time I'll see those people then realize, oh, I actually need to be fast. I need to have some sense of urgency about what I'm doing. And it can be hard sometimes when you're training on your own to kind of force that sense of urgency on yourself where you're really trying to push yourself. But that's extremely important when you're pushing your speed. I know some people out there go, oh, speed's not important, or Lucas, speed is all you preach. Well, I believe speed goes hand in hand with accuracy. Practical, defensive, or offensive shooting is all about 2 things, speed and accuracy. Obviously, tactics aside. Just the shooting portion of it, speed and accuracy. Speed is just as important as accuracy, and obviously, I've talked about in other videos, as a target gets further away, accuracy becomes more important. As a target gets closer, speed becomes more important. So it's important to be working speed when you're on the range, but it's very hard to push yourself to work that speed if you don't have a sense of urgency. So I want to demonstrate for you guys a few different areas in shooting where you can be working on your sense of urgency, where you can be focusing on it. So one right here is the draw. So I have a target here at about 7 yards. I have my Glock 34 from the holster outside the waistband, and I'm simply going to draw and fire a couple rounds. And if I don't go off of a timer or anything, I'm just deciding on my own, 2 rounds from the draw. It can be really easy to just do that over and over, that speed. Did that look fast? It was all right, but I actually don't know if that was any faster, and I wasn't pushing myself to try to be faster. So now I'll just try to go faster. All right, that was a little better. I'm pushing myself, a little more sense of urgency, getting my hand on the gun, driving the gun out, building my grip as I'm pushing out, firing those shots as soon as I see my sight. Something that really helps build a sense of urgency is having a metric of how fast you're actually going. Just shooting and thinking, oh, that felt fast, I think that was maybe faster, that's usually not good enough. Getting one of these little suckers is really going to help your training, because now you can exactly see exactly how fast you're shooting. And then you can use this metric off of here of what your time is based on what kind of targets you're shooting. You can go on the internet, find other guys and go, hey, this guy's shooting, 2A zone at 7 yards and under a second from the holster. I need to start working around that. So I highly recommend getting one of these. These really can help your sense of urgency. This is a packed shot timer. We sell them at T.rex Arms. I've been using these for years, and the only reason I'm as good at shooting as the way I am is because I've been using one of these. If I had not been using a timer the past 4 or 5 years that I've been shooting, I would not be where I am today. This really helps with your sense of urgency when you know there's a timer going. I'm going to be able to look at this data when I'm done. I want to make sure this data is low. I want to make sure that it's fast. I want to make sure that it's fast in relation to what I'm shooting based on the accuracy. So definitely get one of these. So draw, that's one. Now let's talk about reloads. So when reloading a pistol, there's obviously a lot of stuff going on, but I'm just going to break it down. Basically, I'm just dealing with 2 tasks. Shoot gun. As soon as my gun goes empty, I go to reload gun. So I have 2 different tasks, and generally for people, there's obviously going to be a break in from when I am shooting my gun, which is the task at hand that I'm doing, and then having to reload that gun. Obviously, other tasks can jump in there, tactical considerations, moving to position of cover, doing whatever. But just from the sake of shooting, I've got shoot, and then I have reload. And so I'm having to task process. And a lot of people, you know, beginner shooters, they have a longer time to identify what's going on with the gun. As soon as they get slide lock, they go, why can't I fire? I just got a mushy trigger, or I just clicked the trigger to the rear, nothing happened. Oh, I'm at slide lock, and then they reload. So their process of task of shooting to task of reloading is really long. And by building a sense of urgency, you can start chopping that down. So as soon as you get slide lock and you're identifying this is exactly what's going on, even if it's an unanticipated reload, and you have who knows how many rounds in your gun, and you're just working through targets, and all of a sudden, oh, slide lock, I know exactly what I need to do, and I've built sense of urgency into my training that this break between shoot task to reload task is now very short. So I want to demonstrate that for you on this target right here. Right now I have about 10 rounds in the magazine or so. I don't know exactly. I'm just going to spill some out onto the ground. I don't know how many I'm going to have. I'm simply going to draw the pistol, shoot into the head of this target. I'm at 10 yards, so it's going to be a little bit slower shooting, and then I'm going to reload, and we're going to see how much of a break there is from when I go to slide lock to when I reload, and how fast am I identifying that, oh, I'm at slide lock, I need to reload. Let's see what that looks like. Going off of a timer, don't know how many rounds I have in the gun. So pretty fast. As soon as I felt it, I knew I need to go get a new mag. My task of shooting has now been interrupted. Now my next task is I need to load the gun. And by building sense of urgency into my training, I can start trimming that break down, the amount of time where I need to switch between tasks. So now I want to talk about another one, and that's target transitioning.